This is ridiculous. This is really ridiculous. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. I'm just going over this right now. I'm just going to put it like, we're going to go WWE right now. You want to see it? You want to see it? Okay, here we go. I'm the Democratic Party, and I've got everything for you for free. Don't listen to those snotty little Republicans. No, they don't know what you need. We know what you need. You need free health care. You need zero emissions. You need free education. Yeah, free education. You like that. We need trains.
November.
Your platform has called for various new programs, including Medicare for All, housing as a federal right, a federal jobs guarantee, tuition-free public college, canceling all student loan debt. According to nonpartisan and left-leaning studies friendly to your cause, including the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities or the Tax Policy Center, the overall price tag is more than $40 trillion in the next decade. You recently said in an interview that increasing taxes on the very wealthy plus an increased corporate tax rate would make $2 trillion over the next 10 years. So where's the other $38 trillion going to come from?
Well, one of the things that we need to realize when we look at something like Medicare for All would save the American people a very large amount of money. And what we see as well is that these systems are not just pie in the sky. Many of them are accomplished by every modern civilized democracy in the Western world. The United Kingdom has a form of single-payer health care. Canada, France, Germany. What we need to realize is that these investments are better and they are good for our future. These are generational investments so that they're not short-term band-aids, but they are really profound decisions about who we want to be as a nation and how we want to act as the wealthiest nation in the history of the world.
Right. Now, I get that. But the price tag for everything that you've laid out in your campaign is $40 trillion over the next 10 years. Mm-hmm. I understand that Medicare for All would cost more to some wealthier people and to the government and to taxpayers while also reducing individual healthcare expenditures. But I'm talking about the overall package. You say it's not pie in the sky, but $40 trillion is quite a bit of money. And the taxes that you talked about raising to pay for this, to pay for your agenda, only count for $2. And we're going by left-leaning analysts.
Right. Well, when you look again at how our healthcare works, currently we pay much of these costs go into the private sector. So what we see is, for example, a year ago, I was working downtown in a restaurant. I went around and I asked how many of you folks have health insurance. Not a single person did, because they would have had to have paid $200 a month for a payment for insurance that had an $8,000 deductible. What these represent are lower costs overall for these programs. And additionally, what this is a broader agenda. We do know and we acknowledge that there are political realities. They don't always happen with just the wave of a wand, but we can work to make these things happen. And in fact, when you look at the economic activity that it spurs, for example, if you look at my generation, millennials, the amount of economic activity that we do not engage in, the fact that we delay purchasing homes, that we don't participate in the economy and purchasing cars, et cetera, as fully as possible, is a cost. It is an externality, if you will, of unprecedented amounts of student loan debt.
I'm assuming I'm not going to get an answer for the other $38 trillion, but we'll have you back and maybe we can go over that.
That's where we are, people. This bill is the roadmap. And you question this bill that Ocasio-Cortez came out with. Oh my gosh, you are racist, you are bigoted, you are homophobic, oh, you are transphobic. What's wrong with your hate, man? Why can't you just let us pass this stuff? The country needs it. This is why you have to just share this. Just share this with all your friends, because this needs to get out. This is the warning. This is the canary in the coal mine, and this is their game plan. We're going to eliminate air travel and give everyone high-speed trains and electric vehicles where there will be charging stations everywhere. Of course, we're not going to say, oh, wait, we're going to have zero emissions, which means, oh, we already discounted nuclear, so we can't do that. Yeah, literally discounted nuclear. Clean burning. It's not burning really, but radiating, let's put it that way. But it has a little bit of waste. But no nuclear. So solar and wind. But it's part of it. We're going to replace all air traffic with these trains. And you know, trains are so great in a progressive world. That's why the light rail downtown Minneapolis has like 20 stops on it. I mean, imagine a train that goes from LA to New York, and every little greedy politician has a little say in where it goes. Can you imagine what a nightmare it would be to get from LA to New York? That bullet train is moving like 2 miles an hour max. It would be like Podunk in Nevada, Podunk in Nebraska. We're just going to go all these places and stop all these places, and somehow we're going to guarantee that you're going to get from LA to New York in under 3 hours. Not going to happen. Sorry, just not going to happen. But they'll promise it. Oh, and the family farm. We need to love the family farm. Except for we're going to take it over and we're going to do like a 60-year-old communist plan that was done in China and killed a bunch of people. What was that? Oh, yeah. Side note, greatest famine in history. Where was it? Was it Australia? No. Was it South Africa? No. Zambia? Nope. Where was the greatest famine in human history? Was it in the Ukraine? No. It was in China. And it was man-made. Because they collectivized the farms, put a bunch of people who don't know how to farm, and then said, make food. Oh yeah, we got billions of people to feed. Come on. Get moving. They didn't get moving. They didn't know what to do. They didn't really produce much. It was a great plan, government-run farming. The family farm turns into essentially a work camp. A re-education camp. That's where we are, people. This is why you have to share this. You have to know this, even though it's non-binding, because even Ocasio-Cortez realizes it can't work without destroying everything that makes America, America. And people aren't willing for that right now. So they're just going to keep saying, oh, we're going to get all this stuff, magical unicorn fairy poop is going to power everything. And we're going to be stuck with the bill, except for we won't, because they're going to say, first, we could go after billionaires. But billionaires, they have this unique ability to move overseas, and they will use it when situations get a little too heated for them. When this bill is standing an actual chance of holding teeth, they will, and their wealth will, flee. And that's just, that wake up, America. Wake up. The Huns are at the gate right now. They're coming. Rome is burning, and it will burn deeply if this passes. And trust me, there's a possibility of this coming through. Why? Because the one thing Democrats love to play on, they like to say Republicans are all about fear. Republicans are about fearing reality that these people want to place on you. The truth of it, that they're not going to tell you. The cost that you're going to have to bear, both morally and financially. You can't get free health care, Mayo Clinic style health care. Now, I live in Minnesota, and I've been around the Mayo Clinic. I can tell you a little bit about it. You're not going to get that nationwide unless you do some really nasty things. And I mean nasty. Like eliminating the most costful part of life. What is that, by the way? Oh, yeah, the end of your life. Hey, they're doing it in Europe. It's another thing they can point to Europe for, because Finland, 20% of all deaths in Finland were euthanasia. And it's sick. And it's coming. You think your free healthcare won't come with a moral cost? It will come with a moral cost. They will make sure of it. And I'm telling you right now, we don't stop this. We don't wake up. It's going to get ugly. It already is to a degree, because this great media that Donald Trump just, persecutes, well, they kind of cover stuff up when it's a Democrat, like a dead woman at the bottom of some river because some guy named the Lion of the Senate, Ted Kennedy, just got off the side after being drunk and putting the car in the drink. Didn't get the girl, of course, but we're not going to pay attention to that. It might actually hurt him, and he needs to have, he needs to be the Lion of the Senate. We're going to cover that one up. 3 people in Virginia. This is the perfect case of it because it's happening right now. The governor, lieutenant governor, and the attorney general. The governor either was wearing a Klan uniform or was dressed in blackface. He's not really going to tell us which. The lieutenant governor sexually assaulted a woman. Now, of course, by the Democrats' own standard, regardless of evidence, we don't know if he actually did it or not. But because of their standard, yes, he's guilty. Because, believe women. Always. They never lie. And let's talk about the next one in the line. The Attorney General. The third in the line. You could literally lose a governor, lose the second governor, and lose the third governor in a row. Because the third person also wore blackface. But let's be perfectly clear about this. He is not confessing because he had a change of heart. He's confessing because there were probably pictures. That will come out at some point. Probably way off in the distance, Because that's what they do. The media, who's getting so abused by Donald Trump today. This gets so hard. Yeah, that media is going to cover it up. In a few weeks, he'll just be regular, and then he'll be amazing because he's a Democrat. And somehow that happens. I thought it was, I understand it happened under Obama. That really nasty stuff got covered up by the media. I understand that. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. Because he was the first black president. And so, he got away with murdering Americans without trial. He got away with targeting the opposition before an election. He got away with starting 2 wars. One, which was of a leader that was giving us nuclear weapons that sent basically the precedent that if you don't want America invading you and you're on their naughty list, you better get some nukes. Because he gave us his programs. And of his own, well, he was scared. That's what I say. He was scared. But he was scared because he saw what happened in Iraq. And he thought, oh, that could be me someday. But he was cooperating. And we went in with Europe and killed him. What was that famous Hillary Clinton scene?
Unconfirmed.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
Yeah, that was it. That's, I remember something about Martin Luther King saying, I don't want people judged by the color of their skin, by the content of their character. And I, in all my parts of life, try to do that. I don't care what you look like. I care who you are. But that's not where we are today. I want it to be like that. I admit there's problems with America. There always is. There's always things you have to overcome in life. And others have been harder than mine. I understand. But that doesn't mean that we have to whitewash things. We need to hold everyone accountable to the same things. We have to have some sense of hypocrisy being a bad thing. Republicans are just as guilty as Democrats. Don't get me wrong. Well, not really. I'm sorry. I just can't say that. No, that's wrong. We're not as guilty as Democrats. We're guilty too. But after this last week, I don't know, because that same governor's, and I'm going to talk about that because I want you to see this clip first. I want you to think about this. Why is this brave soul testifying about this in Congress? Why does he fear for the life of people with his condition? Ask yourself that. Roll clip.
Mr. Chairman, and members of the committee, just so there is no confusion, let me say that I am not a research scientist. However, no one knows more about life with Down syndrome than I do. Whatever you learn today, please remember this. I am a man with Down syndrome, and my life is worth living. Sadly, across the world, a notion is being sold that maybe we don't need research concerning Down syndrome. Some people say prenatal screens will identify Down syndrome in the womb, and those pregnancies will just be terminated. It's hard for me to sit here and say those words. I completely understand that that the people pushing this particular final solution are saying that people like me should not exist. That view is deeply prejudiced by an outdated idea of life with Down syndrome. Seriously, I have a great life. I have lectured at universities, acted in an award-winning film and an Emmy-winning TV show, and spoken to thousands of young people about the value of inclusion in making America great. I have been to the White House twice, and I didn't have to jump the fence either time. Seriously, I don't feel I should have to justify my existence. But to those who question the value of people with Down syndrome, I would make 3 points. First, we are a medical gift to society, a blueprint for medical research into cancer, Alzheimer's, and immune system disorders. Second, we are an unusually powerful source of happiness. A Harvard-based study has discovered that people with Down syndrome, as well as their parents and siblings, are happier than society at large. Surely happiness is worth something. Finally, we are the canary in the eugenics coal mine. We are giving the world a chance to think about the ethics of choosing which humans get a chance at life. So we are helping to defeat cancer and Alzheimer's, and we make the world a happier place. Is there really no place for us in the world? Is there really no place for us in the NIH budget? On a deeply personal note, I cannot tell you how much it means to me that my extra chromosome might lead to the answer to Alzheimer's. It's likely that this thief will one day steal my memories, my very life, from me. This is very hard for me to say, but it has already begun to steal my mom from me. Please think about all those people you love, the way I love my mom. Help us make this difference. If not for me and my mom, then for you and the ones you love. Fund this research. Let's be America, not Iceland or Denmark. Let's pursue answers, not final solutions. Let's be America. Let's make our goal to be Alzheimer's free, not Down syndrome free. Thank you.
Thank you.
it's powerful. It's very powerful. And it's sad. Because that governor of Virginia who either wore a Klan suit or wore, which just, with what he said on abortion.
The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mothers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Post-birth abortion, or what we like to call infanticide or murder. Because once it's outside of the body, there should be no doubt it's a human body. It's a human being. It's a child. And, it's talking about kids with defects, severe defects, like the Germans tried to do. And then for some reason, the German people rose up against it. And they had to bury their program. They still did it. They just had to bury it. Because German people weren't that far gone. The Germans who elected Nazis were not that far gone. Does that say anything to you, America? Does that say anything about where we are? Oh, severe. What a quality of life. Quality of life can mean that grandma gets killed.
I don't want to punish anybody, but there are an extraordinary number of people whom I want to kill. I think it would be a good thing to make everybody come before a properly appointed board, just as he might come before the income tax commissioners, and say every 5 years or every 7 years, just put him there and say, sir or madam, now will you be kind enough to justify your existence? If you're not producing as much as you consume, or perhaps a little more, then clearly we cannot use the big organization of our society for the purpose of keeping you alive, because your life does not benefit us and it can't be of very much use to yourself.
When you go down those arguments, that's where it's heading. Because guess what? We're going to do free healthcare, Mayo Clinic style healthcare. Oh yeah, big time, high quality, as she says in her bill. High quality free healthcare for everyone, which means we're going to have to control cost, because otherwise it just balloons out. Our whole economy crashes down to the ground, which it will anyways, because this plan is financially insane. But their way of controlling, and this is throughout history, the National Socialist German Workers' Party was, we're going to get trains. We're going to kill people. We're going to euthanize. We're going to do all those things, because that's what Nazis are. And that's what the Democrats will be forced to do. Because quality of life. They'll say, quality of life, you've lived a long life. We're just going to deny you this at the end of your life. But you got free high quality healthcare. You just have to die now. It's coming. It's coming. Because if this doesn't get stopped, if the sane Democrats don't come back, I know there has to be a few of you left. This kind of stuff. And I'm sorry, we can debate abortion. I think it's murder. I'm sorry. It's a human life. I'm tired of being told to shut up about it, especially with talking about, fellow conservatives or fellow Christians, because we need to wake up. You know why you can't talk about politics? It's because the other side wants to silence you. In the end, it's not polite. It's not beneficial for a work environment. They just don't want that stuff. It might offend someone. Oh, someone might be offended. I mean, seriously, we're the country that got bombed by Japan, and we didn't say, oh, well, we kind of deserve that. No, we didn't say that. But nowadays we can't take a little bit of pain. Sure, we'll completely ignore like the media does when Obama does things, but back to the case at hand, and that is these 2, possibly 3 bills. New York passed theirs and then celebrated the deaths of babies. They celebrated it in New York City, of all places. They celebrated it. It's a right to choice. It's a right to choose. No, it's a right to kill. You don't want to say it because it'll make you feel uncomfortable, but it's true. It's a right to kill. And we as Christians, we as conservatives need to wake up to this. Because that same racist governor said that the doctor would consult with the woman about the child right after birth. I don't know about you, but I've been in a few tragic situations, probably nothing compared to birth, to the power, the awe, whatever you want to call it, of giving birth to a living human being, which has to be at the same time extremely painful and at the same time extremely rewarding. But when you're in that moment where everything comes flushing in, you're not in the best mental mood. You're ready to be manipulated. And in a socialized medical situation, the doctor will be forced to worry about the bottom line. And he, in that situation where you're vulnerable to suggestion, trust me, my worst mistake was when I came back from Iraq and all that stuff, and I just fought it, and I didn't deal with it. And every veteran should deal with the stuff that they come back with. They really need to deal with it. But I made my worst mistakes during that period because I didn't deal with it and I was vulnerable. Now, I made the mistakes. I'm not going to deny that. But I also realized I wasn't in a state where I should have made the decisions I did. And this is sick because it's just, they'll start with the doctor advising, and then it'll be the doctor making the call because she's in such a state. Mark my words, it's coming. If we don't wake up, if you don't take this video and go to your neighbor and say, he's not crazy. He may seem crazy, but what he's saying is true. Because in New York, you can birth a baby up to the neckline, snap its neck, and it's not murder because it's not fully born. I'm sorry, that is sick. Having a baby fully born, we're going to make it comfortable. You mean it's a person? It's a boy. It's a girl. And if I look at the world, most of them will be girls. If I look at how societies around the world handle it, most of them will be girls that will die because we all approved it. We didn't directly vote for it, but we all approved it because we voted these people in. And they showed us their plan. They showed us the game plan. There is no reason anymore to say, I didn't know. You cannot be that German who is sitting outside that camp saying, I didn't know. It's open and it's easily accessible to see. They are coming. This is just another line. This is where they're going. They're going to push and push until they can put it into law. When that next economic disaster hits and suddenly everyone's begging them to do stuff, insert Green New Deal, insert right to kill baby. They'll have the majorities because we'll be so afraid of real pain that we'll just agree to it. Just like the Germans did. Only we're going to be 100 times worse. We're going to hit them on both ends. I'd hate to be the group that they single out as the problem, because that's what the Germans did. I mean, there was hatred of Jews all over time, but I hate to tell you this, they needed the Jews. They needed the Jews because they needed the scapegoat. If things went bad, it's the Jews' fault. If things went good, it's the Nazis' fault. Kind of sounds like Republicans and Democrats, you know. If things go good, it's the Democrats. Things go bad, Republicans. Or conservatives. More likely conservatives, because there are a lot of Republicans who aren't necessarily conservative. But we have to be serious about this. We have to be deadly serious about this, because ignorance is no longer an excuse. We need to be just as vocal as the Catholic women I met when I went to an anti-abortion rally. When I went to a pro-life rally. We need to be just as vocal as the women there. And I know it might take a day off. It took me a day off from work. But it was important. And I cannot stress this enough. You allow this to take place. If we allow this to take place, and I mean allow because we sleep, we don't vote, we don't pay attention to our politics, local, state, federal, all the way through. We don't pay attention, and then we wonder why this stuff passes in New York, why it almost passed in Virginia, why infanticide was almost legal in America. We have no excuse anymore. Please share this. Share this with as many people as you can. We need to get the message out. The time is now. The mask is off. And you might say, oh, he's fear-mongering. But this is true. They lit up the Empire State Building for abortion. It's here. We're heading down that road. All it takes right now is the right economic downfall. And they will be in power. And all this stuff that they're writing right now, that they're showing us, they're showing and displaying for us, will suddenly be passed. And America as you know it, America as I've known it, America as Americans have known it, of all races, shapes, creeds, whatever, it will change overnight. The fundamental transformation will be complete. I'm Christopher Welch, and this has been your First Shot.